Twitter looking at possible TikTok tie-up. Twitter's now in the mix for the TikTok acquisition, not just Microsoft. Important to note, Twitter is way smaller than Microsoft. Way smaller. It's like a $30 billion market. Is it?
Difference?
Yeah. $29 billion market capitalization. Microsoft is 1.6 T.
Ooh.
Yeah, Will. I don't even want to say it because I know you might get too fired up and then I can't settle you down after if I say that word, the T word. So it would be, I mean, we've talked about potential TikTok valuations as high as $30 billion. So what are you going to do, Twitter? How are you going to get the money? Well, you're going to have to secure some more funds, or you're going to have to set up some sort of an agreement, maybe bring in some other investors. I don't know what you do.
Right.
It's not impossible. What's funny about Twitter coming into the mix for the TikTok acquisition is that they had something so similar in Vine, which they just squashed. No one really fully knows why. They were never monetized it. Everyone left to go to YouTube. There's all kinds of stories about the death of Vine. And then people said, why don't you just bring Vine back? And now you're talking about buying TikTok. But it doesn't really matter because really what you're buying at this point is a user base. And when Vine was taking off, it was already kind of tied up with Twitter in the sense that there probably was a lot of shared user base. Now TikTok has taken it to a whole nother, to the stratosphere, which is above or below the atmosphere. Willie
Below.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. The second layer of the atmosphere.
Troposphere.
Troposphere is the lowest. And it's right below the stratosphere.
So it's higher.
Get it together, Will.
Yeah. Okay.
It's part of the atmosphere. All right? You never know when I'm going to hit you. Anyways, Twitter kind of makes sense because they're not enormous. So you can't bring the anti-competitive stuff, the Congress stuff. Twitter's user base is way smaller than all those other guys. And their market capitalizations are just not doing the amount of business. They're not as diversified. Although Jack Dorsey has the Square product and he's doing other things too. Yep. But still, Twitter itself, Square product, Cash App. But still, Twitter itself, not as enormous as Microsoft or Facebook or who else, Google, any of these other players here. So it would fit right into Twitter kind of nicely if they could figure out the money. They would also have to satisfy the stuff with the government to get the deal put through. And who knows, with Trump wanting to take a piece, can Twitter afford it? Is really a big part of the question. Can Twitter afford TikTok?
Yeah, and it would have to be a buyout. It can't be like some sort of partnership.
No, because, the government wouldn't go for it. The government has these stringent rules, 45 days to cut a deal. Maybe I'll ask the audience on this one. I don't even know how you feel about TikTok. But if you cared at all, would you prefer for TikTok to be purchased by Microsoft or Twitter? Which is the better idea? You let me know in the comments.